this. Let's go to inventory. See, here we have 2 chocolate bars. Um, you see how there's nothing up here? These are just those blank images, basically, is all they are. And that's what I'm using as a spacer. If you wanted to actually put name right here, we would just go to the, let's go back. This would actually be, here's our first table set, and this is for the image. Here's the second one. If we want to change this to name, we could just take out that image and put name, save that, and refresh, and see now it says name. And that's all you do to change that, and you can go down each one of them and change them. But if you notice, it really messes with the spacing. So make sure that you actually space this out a little bit while you're doing it and keep everything straight. Let's go ahead and go back and save that. Then, now here's the second part to this. This is the top part. The next part depends on what kind of food it is. If the food is edible, equals 1. Now let me show you in the inventory what I mean by this. If you go to inventory, you will see that, let's go ahead and open up our chocolate bar. You'll see that the PID equals the character's name. One thing you will notice a little different in this game that's not with the other games is that the PID is not a number. It's actually just the character's name. But anyway, the name of the inventory, description of what it is, the value of it. The value is not the price. The value is what it gives you. Mod type is food, so that means it actually brings up your food. The mod equals 1. I see I'm wrong here. This actually looks like it is the price. 2 mod is the actual number that it brings up. The randed, then the pick is just Choco 1, and I'll show you how that works, and I'll go ahead and show you now before I forget. Basically what it does is it goes into your images, materials, select backpack pick, and then I put the .png after it, so where all you have to do in the database is put the name of it, Choco 1, and if we go to our images and we go to our materials, you'll see it's just Choco 1 is the full name of it without the PNG, which is placed later. Is edible equals 1, so that means it is edible. The type is food. It doesn't give a buff, so you don't have to put anything there. So let's go back. So then we put the name of it, and if it is edible equals 1, that means if you can't eat it. If you can eat it, then we're going to put description, and then we're going to put index again, the select backpack 3 randed. Basically we're setting a randed. We're setting the mod of how much it gives. Consumed equals 1, and then consume. Just remember this variable right here, because this is another one of those. If consumed is set, then do this. And then we're going to put consume. Now, if it is edible equals 1, now if you notice here the select backpack buff, if the buff equals 0, it means if it doesn't give a buff, then we're going to do this. If it's not edible nor does it have a buff, then we're not going to put it, you can't do anything with it. It's most likely for crafting or something, so we're not going to put a link to anything. It just sits in your backpack until you can actually craft with it or whatever. If the select backpack buff is greater than 0, in other words, if buff is set to 1 or anything higher, then we're actually going to do the same thing as before. Everything else is the same except for we're going to do activate equals 1 and activate. It's actually going to start a buff, and we'll go to that in a second. Now, consuming an item, if it is set to consumed, and let me go ahead and show you what consumed an item looks like. Let's say we want to consume this. It says item consumed, back to map, and you'll notice the food goes up. It gave us some food. Not much because it's just a simple item. If it's set get consumed, bypass map equals 1, means we're once again bypassing the map. We're getting the mod like we said it, we're getting the randed, and then we're going to do select name, randed. The reason why I did this is because we don't need everything out of that, and I kind of put this in here to kind of show you. We don't have to do select all every time. The only thing I need is these fields right here, so that's all I'm selecting. It helps on the query. From inventory, where the PID equals the player's name, the randed equals the randed, and the mod equals the mod. You can actually take out that mod, but I put it in there just to make sure we get the right item. And then consume info, we're basically just pulling the query. If consume info 3 is edible equals 1. The reason why I did this is for cheaters. Cheaters are going to try to eat something that's not edible and try to get the value out of it. This assures that even if they find a way to pass it through the URL, it's still not going to let them do anything because it has to be edible food. This is checking for it. Also, then it checks again if the item type is food. It's got to be food. Then, or my bad. If it's food, then we want to increase the food. If it's water, we're going to increase the water. If it's H points. So in other words, if we go back into the database right here, and we look at this chocolate bar, the mod type is food. If this was a drink, then that would be water, and it would actually increase the water and not the food, or the hit points if it increased hit points or whatever else it might be, which is shown here. So if it is food, then we want to do food mod equals the player info 3 food plus the mod. So it takes your food and adds that mod number. So if your food is right now 5 and chocolate bar adds 2, you're now going to have a 7. If the food mod is greater than your max food, the reason why you have to do that is if you can never go above your max food. So you have to make sure that it doesn't go above the max food. So if it is greater than max food, then we're going to make it equal to the max food. That way, if you have 9 food and 10 is your max and you eat something that gives you 5, it's just going to max it out at 10. And then we're going to update the player and set your food equals the food mod where name equals player, and that's what updates it. If it's water, it's the same thing except for doing water, and hit points, same thing except for it's doing hit points. And if you want a whole new mod in here, let's say you have a new stat called stamina, which I know a lot of people don't like, all you have to do is come in here, add another deal for stamina, and make sure you just add it in your items. Anything that brings up stamina, make sure that the mod type equals stamina, and it'll add it up. And then we're going to have to delete the item because we ate it, so we just delete the item from the inventory where the name, the rand, and the mod match. And then it prints out, hey, item's been consumed. Else, if this item up here is not edible, then we're going to say this is not edible food, and saying, basically, hey, cheater, you didn't get it. Activate, we're going to do here in a second. We're going to have to actually add an item to activate. We'll do buffs here shortly, but we're not going to do them right now. So that's basically the ticket system, the inventory system, and the sidebar system.